One of the biggest stereotypes and negative reputations that is usually attached to metal, specifically whenever you see some mass murderer shooter that listened to any metal band ever or rock band ever, is that metalheads notoriously, and it is just ingrained in us, that we are violent or have violent tendencies. Where did the stereotype come from? Is it true or not, and why is that? I intend to go through that in this video, and of course you can let me know your opinions down in the comment section below, and if you end up enjoying this video, drop a like, it helps out a lot. So just to sort of psychoanalyze the nature of metal, and it is going to be a little generalized because every person has their own individual story, and you can't just generalize and categorize everyone into little boxes because you truly never know, and with metal being such a wide-reaching niche and community, you're never going to be able to pin down everyone. But as someone who has been in this community pretty much more years of my life than I haven't by a landslide, and has followed so many different spaces, high, low, and middle of this community, I feel like I'm pretty educated enough to talk about the people that I've interacted with and why I think this stereotype exists in the first place. Metal is more notoriously associated with outsider culture than many other musical genres. You see a lot of times in like hip-hop and pop and stuff, people commenting, this saved my life, this did this or that for me. But a lot of times the people that get attracted to metal, specifically extreme metal or underground forms of metal, do so because there's a community attached to it. And these people might have violent tendencies in their own head. More often, in my opinion, it can be chalked up or boiled down to mental health struggles that people go through. I have noticed that a solid 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 people that are really invested in the metal community, I'm not just talking about some casual listener that listens to like Five Finger Death Punch or like the radio or something. I'm talking about people who care about this community, who give a shit about this community, who are constantly looking at bands, listening to bands, watching people, interacting with new people in the community, trying to network and that sort of thing. These people oftentimes got brought to this for this sense of community. And you always want to try to find a place of belonging, and most of the time, metalheads didn't really have that in their life. Because even though metal is far more accepted in the mainstream than it once was, and is more of a diluted form than it maybe was in like the 80s and 90s when you could have gotten judged a lot more, there are still a ton of negative stereotypes and attachments associated with the community itself. And so it's not always that easy to just strike up a conversation with a friend or a stranger about the things you like without getting some weird looks or them just not knowing how to engage with you at all. Because on the flip side of that coin, one correlation that you'll usually see is a lot of metal frontmen and women are some of the nicest fucking people you'll ever meet. Some of the most generous, sympathetic, empathetic people. Look at Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse, being one of the most imposing, crazed looking dudes you'll ever see in your life, and he is genuinely one of the coolest dudes. Some of the heaviest bands out there, Harm's Way for example, that dude's like a fucking teacher. Metal, more so than a catalyst for harm, is a way that people filter out their negative emotions in a very aggressive way. It is catharsis to be able to not only know you are surrounded with people who understand you and resonate with you, whether it be the bands and members themselves or the people within the community at live shows or in mosh pits or people that you meet online. Oftentimes, for the first time, the people that finally feel understood, especially people who grew up in these times where it was troubling to even come out as a metalhead to a lot of people. Come out's a fucking weird term. I make it sound like a fucking sexuality. But like, as dumb as that sounds, a lot of times in my life, that's kind of how it's fucking felt to talk to people about metal. It feels like this no subject that I have to stray away from because I don't know what the reaction is going to be, and I don't know how people are going to feel about it. And I feel like that's something a lot of people relate to, and a lot of the metalheads I've met personally have said similar things. How they never know how to tell people they're into metal or who to tell. I'm not even going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I have zero tolerance for like evil shit in this world. I'm just going to get down to the brass tacks and say, if you're fucked up in the head, if you have a predisposition, you are always going to find some outlet to put that rage through and to fuck the world up. If you want to do damage to yourself or to other people, whatever it may be, if it wasn't metal, it was gonna be something else. It was gonna be something in their life that they attached to, that they thought they were understood by, and that they thought justified their actions. And metal and rock, because it's so aggressive, just lures people in a lot of ways, and in the apple bunch, you're gonna get some bad apples. That's just how the world works. It's the same reason that I don't fully support saying that a politician incited someone to do something if they did not outright say it. You can't just say someone manipulated a narrative or pushed you in that direction. If it wasn't bluntly put, you cannot blame the source. That person was going to do something regardless. They were going to take something out on someone, and they most likely had mental health problems. And circling back to what I said at the start, because metal a lot of times has people in the community that are outcasts, that are the black sheep of the world, the people that were more introverted, the people that maybe had anxiety or depression, or personality disorder, something about them coming from like abusive households, whatever it may be. Of course, in that bunch, there are going to be the people that snap, that just don't have the willpower or don't have the chemicals running in their brain in the type of way that they should, and so they don't have all the fucking wheels running on the bus, and so they want to take that out on the world, and metal just happens to be the lens that is shot through. I have no doubt that if you could only get the honest answer from a lot of metalheads, I would say that there are so many metalheads that would say that metal, on the flip side of that, has helped them not try to commit suicide, not self-harm, not hurt someone else, and has been a positive force to let out that aggression. I can't tell you the countless times I've seen on this channel alone people saying that they were helped through this music, that they were understood, that it was the only outlet that they had to let out these negative emotions in their head. It's something I relate to a lot. It's a cheesy thing to say, no one in the world gets you but music, but that's sometimes just how it fucking feels. It's obviously a super complex and nuanced sort of thing to psychoanalyze, because you can't just write off the fact that an aggressive form of something can obviously incite someone to have those emotions to be aggressive. I'm not saying that that doesn't exist, but what I am saying is you have to have the thing in your head that can switch on and off to make you do that in the first place. No one is going to be just a normal, functional, mentally well person, and then they listen to like a Slayer song for once in their life and suddenly they want to go hurt someone. You have to have something built into you from the get-go, and it just awakens that. And if you truly think that you can just wake up one day and be evil because you hear a song, you're just fucking foolish. And that might sound rude, but I genuinely stand by that. It's dismissive of a lot of things, and it's dismissive of the overarching issues and the mental health crisis that the world just has as a whole. And obviously that was a long answer to a short question, but I personally do not think that metal inherently makes people aggressive in the same way that I don't think video games make people aggressive or anything. You have to have something in you to begin with to condition you to think that is normal. Our brains are not wired to just be that way. Something has to fuck up or go wrong. What are your guys' opinions of this? Do you think metal makes people aggressive or not? Agree or disagree? You can let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it and discuss it with you guys. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.